Me, I can't play today. I can play.
You're ready to throw our chemistry off. All right, what are the storylines we're watching today?
Well, for me, did you want to go first?
No, go ahead.
You know what? I'll go first. Whatever.
It's all about here on Game Day View.
I wasn't. He is. It's a bunch of passing touchdowns. So for me, Drew Brees, passing touchdown. We got Russell Wilson, passing touchdown. We got Matthew Stafford, 2 passing touchdowns. I've got, these are all guys with 2. So if you wanted to say, okay, let's make a list, and we're going to check it twice after to make sure each one of them got 2, your list includes Stafford, Russell, you got Brees, you got Goff, and Garoppolo. All 5. So take notes.
She's not easing into this show. She's hitting.
No, I love it.
Who's going to ease in?
Right off the bat.
Who's easing in?
I love it. All right, so the storyline I'm watching for is the Browns and Patriots. And obviously, I know I'm a Browns homer, but for me, this is a make-or-break Browns game. This is it. This is like the hyper-hope game, right? If we win this one, the hope remains for the rest of the season. If we lose, we all kind of realize that the Browns are all hype and we have another year.
I feel like it's their Super Bowl.
If by we, you mean we Browns, we Patriots.
Sure. The Patriots can survive a loss. The Browns, I'm with you. This is their Super Bowl.
What are you watching,
I'm looking for another AFC East team, the Bills, in their matchup against the Eagles. Which team will show up? The Eagles team we've been waiting to see all season at 3-4. They're running out of time. Will they show up? The team that people thought had Super Bowl hopes. And then the Bills at 5-1. Let's face it, they've beaten a lot of bad teams. They've barely won against some bad teams at home. Will the real Bills show up? And by the real Bills, I mean a team that can't beat another contender like the Eagles. We'll find out.
I love it. Some more storylines we're looking for is weather. Check this out. We have tough weather all across the league today.
100% chance of rain, Browns at Patriots. That's a big deal. Wind gusts, just so you know, somebody did a really awesome study that I learned about in school and getting this predictive analytics thing, and the number that changes footballs, 17 miles per hour. Sustained gust, 17 or more miles per hour. Just so you know.
So it's going to be tough to throw the ball.
So Chargers at Bears, not as big of a deal. Way bigger deal for Eagles at Bills and Panthers at Niners.
Favors the run game, but I think that's good for the Buffalo Bills today against the Eagles.
All right, check out Mitch Trubisky at Soldier Field warming up ahead of the Bears' tilt against the Chargers. Both of these teams are in desperate need of a win after horrible losses in Week 7. For more on this one, let's go on the field with our Stacey Dale.
We have to run the football. I'm not an idiot. Those are the words of Bears head coach Matt Nagy this week after the team's loss against the Saints last week, in which they had a franchise-low 7 rushes for 17 yards. Quarterback Mitch Trubisky, he had a career-high 54 pass attempts in the game, and in many cases, the scrutiny goes to the quarterback. That was the case this week for the Bears. Head coach Nagy went back, he watched the tape, and said the footwork was just okay. Footwork, he said, affects timing, accuracy, decisions. So this week for Trubisky, getting back to some repetitions, plays that he's comfortable in since returning from that left shoulder injury. We'll see how it plays out this week against the 2-5 Chargers. Right now to Buffalo and Mike Garafolo.
Thanks, Stacey. Here in Orchard Park, the Philadelphia Eagles badly need a win today against the Bills. Feels kind of like a couple of weeks ago when they were up in Green Bay, went on the road against a team that's playing really well, needing a victory to really salvage their season because they're coming off that morale-crushing loss to the Cowboys last week, and Doug Peterson has been trying to tell his guys the final score looked bad. Yes, but we're not that far away. Just a little tweak here and there, one little bit of execution, and things would have been a lot different down there in Dallas. One of those areas, the running game, Miles Sanders, the rookie running back, still trying to get him going. He's just not reading his keys properly right now. If he just gets up into a hole here and there, they feel like he could really take off. And even at times, it hasn't been him. It's been a missed block here or there. So they want to get that running game going. Probably a good idea because if you look up at these flags here, they have been blowing all morning long. It's been kind of a weird weather day so far. It was pouring, then it was sunny, now it's cloudy again. I think it's going to continue to be a weird weather day all the way through the game, but I think the one thing that's going to be consistent based on the weather reports is the wind, so be good for the Eagles to run the ball. Now back to the studio where it's nice and warm.
That's right, the weather looking to tame some of these offenses, but check out our guy Mike Garafolo trying to tame his umbrella.
Oh my God.
He was not successful.
I like that he thinks it's warm in this studio because it is not.
Maybe all that wind will blow Josh Allen's passes on target.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It could help them.
That's the expertise people are here for, the things they're not thinking about. All right, so just like we predicted in the preseason, we have a one-loss team in this Bills-Eagles matchup, and then a team whose locker room is full of turmoil. It's just the roles are reversed, okay? The Bills are the 5-1 team, and the Eagles are struggling at 3-4. Cynthia, we will start with you. What are you looking for in this matchup?
I want to know if Carson Wentz and this offense can start to connect. They've had really slow starts. They haven't been able to. Third down's been a mess ever since it started off hot, and then it was a mess. And then there's no Zach Ertz. There's no Dallas Goedert. Like, these tight ends are the key to this offense. So I want to see if the tight ends can become a factor, can become kind of what we expected from Zach Ertz or even Dallas Goedert. It's the tight end position and scheming to get open. That's really interesting to me.
You mentioned the turmoil. This is a team, if they lost this game, you start to worry about. There's been reports, players late to meetings. The Eagles cut in successive weeks starters the day after they started them. I mean, Orlando Scandrick on Monday, Zach Brown on Monday. The day before, they've been playing these guys 70 snaps. They have other players like Sidney Jones that they refuse to let off the bench. There's a lot of injuries. Jason Peters is out again this week. And it's one of those teams that it feels like they got to get this win or else things can get really ugly. You've been on some of those ugly teams.
I have.
No offense.
Once this turmoil starts to happen, it's hard to turn around. And the way they play today will be very indicative of what happens the remainder of the season if they can overcome this.
So I had a chance to just connect with a few people that I know at the Eagles, and I think that they, at least it, and I believe it, that they think maybe like we're making in the media maybe a bit too much of a story about it, right? I think that it's maybe not quite as volatile as like going on First Take or whatever. You know.
The coaches cutting starters the day after they play, that's volatile.
That's
a sign of a bad
I heard that
team.
from a player.
Right.
So a player
Well,
saying it.
Time will tell. Let's get to the picks here. Buffalo favored by 1.5 at home. Cynthia, we'll start with you. What do you got?
Buffalo's favored by 1.5. Wait, did you just see that? That was the Chargers, and that was wrong one. But we're going to go in this game still. I have the Eagles winning this one by 2, 23-21. I think the Eagles start getting moving on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills, too, just because, again, with that stuff, that thing affects what happens on the field. I've been in those locker rooms. I've been in these situations, and I think it's going to take a week for them to kind of figure this out in Philadelphia.
I have the Eagles winning this game barely. I am a little worried with the weather, how good the Bills' red zone offense is, second in the league. Like, they're the team that when they get close, and there may not be many opportunities today, they punch it in, but I'm still trusting the Eagles' talent.
All right, well, we're heading back to Chicago. The Bears are favored by 4 over the Chargers. There it is. Cynthia, what do you got?
The Bears favored by 4. I think 23-18, that means 5. So for me, I have the Bears comfortably winning this one. I do think that it's going to be a big David Montgomery day. So I think David Montgomery is going to help them. Tariq Cohen too, but David Montgomery.
I'm going Chargers, man. That Bears offense looked terrible last week. So much so that I don't feel comfortable even going with them, even though they're favored by 4. I'm going Chargers.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm taking the upset. I was waiting to see if Keenan Allen would play in this game. He is active for Sunday. I think that's huge news. And I mean, maybe I'm overreacting. You get emotional. Yeah. That game should have been 36-3 late in the fifth, late in the fourth before they put up those garbage time. Because the only time they scored was on a kick return. It is rough now in Chicago.
I get it. You've been watching a lot of baseball, I can tell.
No, I know. No, it's funny.
We're going
I
on
was actually
to
thinking that too.
Jacksonville, where the Jaguars are favored by 5.5 over the Jets. Cynthia, start us off.
Remember on Thursday we were talking about this, and I was like, I'm shocked. Well, I'm still shocked because even with the weather and the thunderstorm and everything, I have 22-21 Jets. That's a giant upset.
Was your model built in New York?
Actually, no.
Because I feel like
Connecticut.
My model was built in Chicago.
Oh,
so
okay. Got it. All right.
Doesn't explain the Bears, but
well, I'm going Jaguars. I think they're a better team than what we expected. I'm just not a huge believer in the Jets at this point in the season. What do you got, Dave?
Yeah, I think the Jaguars win this game comfortably, maybe by 7 or more, because I think Todd Wash, their defensive coordinator, he loves to pick on offensive lines and pass protection schemes that don't work out well. They'll throw a lot of blitzes, see if Sam Darnold can figure it out this week.
I think maybe we see a Demaryius Thomas touchdown. That's a little sneaky one.
All right, let's check out some other notable actives and inactives for the day. See,
Melvin Ingram being active is a big deal.
Yeah, Ingram too.
Yeah,
they're getting a little healthier. They also have Russell Okung back at left tackle, so they're looking a little more like the team they expected to be before the season.
Alvin Kamara being out is a big deal, and that just means Latavius Murray becomes playable in fantasy, but it's still not, that's not great.
Yeah.
As the Bears find out, that O-line's so good, you can put Murray back there. They'll still run the ball well.
Of course.
All right, well, next on Game Day View, we talk Kyler Murray rocking the Louis V in New Orleans, hoping he can upstage Drewy B. See what I did there? Coming up next on Game Day View.
Drewy.
I can't pull off that shirt.
Carson Wentz hitting the karaoke.
Oh, yes,
in Buffalo.
Grapevine.
Look at
There we go.
You can't tell me he's not ready with those hips. Weather be damned.
He seems like a great dancer.
He's ready for a Broadway show. That is ugly.
All right, so we want to do proper performances now?
Let's do it.
Let's start with that man, Carson Wentz. So even in this crappy weather, more than 227 passing yards. Carson Wentz will throw for more than 227 passing yards. Not much more, but
I'm
more.
going to say no.
I know the weather says you run, but their strength to me is in the passing game. They got to throw the ball a lot to win. I like it, Cynthia.
Okay, good. I like when you agree with me. In Chicago, where the model was born, David Montgomery will earn more than 65 scrimmage yards. Remember, a lot of people active for the Chargers defense, including Melvin Ingram, but that's not going to help against the run with David Montgomery.
Yeah, I'm with that. I like more than that.
I worry just because their offense and their running game has been almost as bad as their passing game this year because of the offensive line just not getting it done. Not many
Everybody
big plays.
hates the Bears.
Not many plays, big
Greg
plays out of
hates
Montgomery.
the Bears. All right.
I did.
Down where it's thunderstorming, Gardner Minshew will throw for fewer than 265 passing yards. Thunderstorms.
I'm going to say
Humidity.
more.
This is why Cynthia gets it done, because even in a situation where they win the game, I don't think he maybe is going to top 265. Either way, I think it's keeping it close to the vest.
All right,
changing
well,
that.
we'll get back to Chicago. Allen Robinson, more than 59 receiving yards. Model has the Bears winning.
That makes, if anything, he was on our show, and he's the man. If
Well,
he
every
was on
time
a better
someone's-
team, he'd have 1,600 yards.
Every time
I'm with
someone's
you.
on our show, you know what happens? Yeah, remember?
they
Marvin
ball
Jones.
out. 4
Exactly.
touchdowns.
Right? We're the secret weapon. We have one more for you. You ready? Chase Edmunds, or David Johnson, not playing. These are receiving yards, so don't let the 26 fool you. 26 receiving yards, more than that.
Love it.
Love it.
I love it.
Great.
He bought out last week.
Who's going to cover him? Demario Davis,
Yes.
AJ Klein? No,
Demario
come on.
Davis.
It's not going to happen.
Demario
Linebacker.
Davis is actually really good, but the receiving yards, it's the outside. It's the outside.
All right.
That rush.
Can't cover that
For
man
more
with the
on this
linebacker.
one,
Producer
let's
nailed
go
that
on
one.
the field in New Orleans with our guy, Steve White.
Well, there's some questions with Drew Brees returning to the Saints starting quarterback job, such as his health or maybe continuity. But one thing not in question is the protection. The Saints have allowed just 12 sacks all season long, and Cardinals pass rusher Chandler Jones had nothing but high praise for the Saints offensive line, especially tackles Teron Armstead and Ryan Ramczyk. He even said Ramczyk, he got high praise for him, saying, I've heard a lot about him being first-team All-Pro because he shut down J.J. Watt and Khalil Mack. He's like, but I'm not going to say he shut them down. I want him to go against me, and then I'll have something to say. Pretty big talk. Remember, Jones is third in the NFL with 8.5 sacks, and the Cardinals lead the league with 12 strip sacks. And now for more on the Browns and Patriots, let's send it to Mike Giardi in Foxborough.
Weather expected to be a problem here in New England all day long. Rain, heavy at times, and wind as well. Although Bill Belichick doesn't pay attention to that, as he says, who's wrong more than the weathermen? Meanwhile, the Browns' offensive line undergoing some serious change over the course of the bye week into this game. In fact, so much change, it may continue during the game, sort of shuffling players in and out, and that'll be very interesting against the Patriots defense that's making the 85 Bears and the 2000 Ravens look pedestrian by comparison.
That's right. 2 of my former teams are squaring off in New England. The Patriots versus the Browns. This is the Hawk Bowl. That's all anybody's calling it.
That's all anyone thinks of in New England is
exactly.
It's
Andrew
probably
Hopkins.
raining because you're not there, right?
Exactly.
Like if you were there,
It's
it
like
was sunny.
Mother Nature knows that the forefather is gone. All right, what are we watching for in this matchup, Greg? We'll start with you.
I want to see the Patriots defense against this Browns offense coming off a bye week. Do the Browns solve some things? Do they get rid of the ball a little more quickly? Do they get the ball to OBJ a little more cleanly? Because I think the lack of connection between him and Baker Mayfield is partly reps. It's partly OBJ not coming up with big-time catches, and it's certainly the play calling too. And this is not the place to go to solve your problems. Such a tough ask for them coming off a bye.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the weather is obviously a factor for a passing game that's already struggled, where play calls in the passing game have already been, not great. Add weather and rain onto that, I don't think it gets any prettier. So I'm hoping.
But maybe
the run
they have
game.
the better running game. Maybe
Well, that's what I'm
they have the
hoping
better
for.
running back for sure.
Cynthia, what do
They
you got?
might have the better running back, but their O-line is not the better O-line.
No,
and that's a
facts.
really big problem when it comes to, like, Nick Chubb's production in this one is going to be limited not just by the weather, but, he can get more volume probably, but the fact that, like, the Patriots up front are really stingy against these. That's where turnovers come into play. That's where things like that are really going to change the landscape of this game.
We also see your boy Mo Sanu making his debut.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my personal thing.
What do you think he does?
For.
How could you join a team like the Patriots? You knew what it was like to try to learn that offense and have the whole training camp to do that. What do you think it's going to be like for him to join it and play on Sunday?
I think they'll have a limited playbook for him. One thing Belichick is incredible at is keeping the other team off their toes. So they're going to keep Mo out there, even threaten to have him there so they can try to prepare for him. It's something that they don't have tape on. Nobody knows how they're going to use him. Similar to the Antonio Brown situation, throw him out there, catch him off guard.
The only thing that limits that in this matchup, because that's we've seen them do it with Josh Gordon. Every time you have someone new, they kind of fold him in really quickly. But the problem is with this rain, I don't know if that's going to just happen in general, right? So if you have either Sony Michel or James White, probably good fantasy options for both.
Unless they go Wildcat, right?
Yeah.
All right, so little prediction there. All right, let's go to picks. Patriots are favored by 12.5. Cynthia, what do you got?
Well, this one switched a little bit because of the rain. So for me in this one, it did go a little bit down. Now I'm losing my mind because it's not on there. So 28-17 is where it ended up.
28-17.
Yeah, 11 points. So it did swing to the Patriots.
Greg, what do you got?
I thought this was going to be a close game, a field goal game where the Patriots pull it out in the end. And the rain makes me feel even more confident it's going to be close. I think that helps Cleveland keep the score down, and I think the lack of a Patriots running game has really shown up all season, but they haven't played a team that can expose it. Maybe the Browns are that team, buddy.
I like that. I like that optimism right into my pick, which is the Browns, baby. I'm going Browns. I'm going Browns. It's raining. I'm hoping that the fact that they understand how important this game is to turn the season around plays a factor, and hopefully Nick Chubb is a big part of that.
Well, okay, I like that one, but let's go down to New Orleans where the weather is absolutely not a factor because it's inside. And Kyler Murray going to take Drew Brees. The Saints favored by 11.5 points in this one. Greg?
I like the Saints to win, and I like them to win
11.5
easy more. Maybe let's say 20. I mean,
20
Drew Brees
points.
is going to be ready to show everyone. I got the best tackle combination of my life. I got the best defense of my life. I haven't really enjoyed watching Teddy Bridgewater go 5-0. I want to go out there and win by 40 and show him who's boss.
I got the Saints too, man. Even with Drew Brees and him not having the reps over the last couple of weeks, he's still Drew Brees, and this team is still really good, especially this offense.
Oh, I have the Saints, but I only have it by 10, so 29-19. So it went up with Drew Brees going into the game, but it went down a little bit with Alvin Kamara being out, so 10 points. I think, look, the Cardinals' offense has a little more juice than I think we like to give them, and also they do have Patrick Peterson back, and so that will limit some of the passing.
That's two NFC teams on a winning streak. Two other teams, Panthers and 49ers. 49ers favored by 5.5. What do you got, Cynthia?
So I have a nice win for the 49ers in this one. I think it's really interesting to look at the fact of I have a good day for Christian McCaffrey, but I have a 6-point win for the Niners. So it's both things can exist because I think, especially adding Emmanuel Sanders, who I think if of any of the two traded veteran wide receivers, I think Emmanuel Sanders gets in the end zone in this one.
I like that. I like the 49ers too. I think this team is on a roll, and I think Kyle has this team playing really well, and even with the pieces they have, adding Emmanuel Sanders there only makes them better. I got him keeping the streak alive.
Yeah, two creative running games. I trust the 49ers more because I don't expect the 49ers to lose till they play a really good veteran quarterback or a really good offensive line. The Panthers don't have either. I think the 49ers win going away by a touchdown.
By the way, Kyle Allen, interception, flagged in my model. First one, it kind of breaks a really long no interception streak. Almost historic no interception streak.
I like it. All right, now we're on to the Battle of the Birds. So it's only right that Hawk, myself, tees this up.
Of course.
We're going to Atlanta.
How could you not tee this up?
Makes too much sense. Seahawks taking on the Falcons. Seahawks are favored by 7.5 in this one, Cynthia. What do you got?
I got 12, 29-17.
The
whole score went down. Matt Ryan being out is a really big, a giant Matt Schaub size big deal.
Yeah.
You're not buying that Matt Schaub came in last week and scored a touchdown?
No. I mean, he can score a touchdown. I have 17 points projected, but this is Russell Wilson. This actually might be, if you're looking to stream a defense, you could actually consider streaming the Seahawks defense.
I mean, the Falcons couldn't keep it close against the Rams. I don't think they keep it close against the Seahawks. This is an easy one.
Yeah, this is going to get ugly. This is going to get ugly.
Okay, so Texans, Raiders. Texans coming off kind of a weird loss. Raiders coming off a loss. It's a pretty significant loss.
Yeah.
But in this one, 6.5-point favorites for the Texans. Hawk.
Yeah, I'm going to go Texans. Love Deshaun Watson. Love what he's doing. Raiders, They were okay. They're continuing this road streak they're on, and I don't think it gets any better. Also, predicting a big day for Kenny Stills.
People
Ooh,
sleeping
Kenny,
on
me
that.
too. I like that one. I like that one.
I think Kenny Stills steps in for Will Fuller, does great. I think the Texans win a shootout, but it's really close. So I have the Texans winning by just a couple points because this Raiders offense, people sleeping on, very efficient, running the ball well. Hopefully Josh Jacobs plays in this
what I was about to
game,
say.
but it sounds like it's trending that way. What does the model say?
Well, the model says 28-24 in favor of the Texans, but the Josh Jacobs injury could make that a little bit different. If he's really not okay, then that would drive it down. Tyrell Williams, by the way, is potentially playing. So
that'd be good.
That would help out a little bit there, but I still have a big day for Darren Waller.
The Chiefs and the Packers round up the day on Sunday night. Chiefs have some bad injury news in this game. Kendall Fuller and Chris Jones among the players that are going to be out this week. Eric Fisher.
Patrick Mahomes also.
That guy's good.
Guy's not
yeah,
playing.
he's not playing.
Yeah.
Do you think the model, does it have it close in this game at least?
Actually, surprisingly, yeah, 26-23. Remember, Devontae Adams unlikely to play too, even though he said he was 2 million% better. But that's a really significant increase.
That's a very good training.
Contrarian play though that you think it's close.
I still think it stays relatively close. Look, Andy Reid and Matt Moore, Andy Reid has done this before. He's had to take kind of Alex Smith. He's done this with veteran players with a certain skill set. He knows how to. He has the playbook for it. Andy Reid, the beginning of the season, Andy Reid coming off a bye, he can make things happen.
Yeah, you're right. If I had a nickel for every time Andy Reid had to switch quarterbacks to get wins, we'd all be rich. Yeah, I'm going with the Packers though. They were playing lights out last week. I think LaFleur and Rodgers have finally figured out their chemistry. I think it continues this week, and they win probably more than the model. I'd say at least a touchdown.
Yeah, I think they win going away. The big defensive weakness for the Packers is against the run. I don't know if the Chiefs are the team that pulls it off. Darrell Williams, Shady. I don't know.
It's a big
I think
shady
the Packers win easy.
Big shady.
All right, well, let's check out some more picks for this Sunday.
You know what? The Lions, Darius Slay is inactive. That drives me crazy. So that makes because they're favored by 6, and then that's 5. So that makes me even more confident that 5 points will be more like it.
Just lock these games up here.
Lock it up.
3 of us agree on
anytime
all
we agree, it's basically a guarantee. That's the game.
I think so.
All right. Speaking of something we agree on,
he's good.
Aaron Donald is a bad man, the baddest man in pro football.
Woo,
he's out in London. We'll talk about him and more coming up next on Game Day View. Check out these Eagle fans in Buffalo. Weather not affecting them. They're ready. They're ready to get this W right in front of the Bills Mafia.
That's the type of thing you do as a fan when you're young and dumb. I mean, there's no advantage to being out there an hour and a half ahead of time in the rain. You save that time.
Nobody else is out there.
Stay drier.
Listen, if you're sitting in the 300 section and you're out there at an hour and a half before time, then I'm impressed with you as a fan. Like, that's really good. And you know what time it is? We got our foam fingers on.
There you go. Let's do it.
More or less time. So starting in that game, Eagles at Bills, more or less than 41 points. So you got to think about it, like about 20-ish for each. Yes, no, who's winning?
Down.
The rain is making this
Boom.
even easier. You're not worried about the rain and the wind.
It's not that I'm not worried about it. It's that both teams have the ability to score points short passing and running.
Okay.
Short passing meaning the Eagles.
They're
Running
down.
meaning the Bills. All right, we're moving on to the next one. Seattle's at Falcons. Will they combine for more or less than 52 points? If you think about it, 26, 27, right around there each.
Yeah, I'm going more.
The Falcon, it's, oh
What?
my gosh.
wow,
It's
we're
hard
up to
to understate how bad this Falcons defense is. And the sneaky thing is, the Seahawks defense isn't that great either. I think Schaub puts in, 15 to 20 points, gets his job done. Seahawks go over 35 or something.
Yep.
No, I have less than that because I think that it's not going to be able to get going. That's why I think that the Seahawks will keep up their end of the bargain and the Falcons won't.
They don't
in terms
even
of
need to
total
score that
points.
much.
All right, last one. Broncos at Colts. More or less than 44 points. So like 22, 21 each, right around there. Think about it like that.
A bunch of long, slow drives. You know what Joe Flacco loves to do? 11 play drives that end in a field goal attempt. And that's a way to keep the score nice and low.
I never know when Joe Flacco's going to have a great game. It's been a couple of weeks. I think this is where he's surprised
2012.
us.
That's
Yeah.
when. That's
the Super Bowl. Yeah,
that's the time.
It's every 8 years.
I say less.
All right, let's check out some fan tweets now.
Oh boy.
We got some questions here. PPR League, best flex. Ty Johnson, Golden Tate, or Emmanuel Sanders, Cynthia?
Okay, so if you want to go safe, you go Ty. If you want to go upside, you go Manning.
There you go. All right, next we got Standard Scoring League running back. Edmunds or Coleman?
Edmunds.
You're going Edmunds.
Yep.
I'm starting to
Standard
take offense
scores.
here.
All
It's
right.
all to Cynthia.
No one ever asked you
Yeah,
questions,
nobody likes
Who
you,
should I
Greg.
use in my flex today? Marvin Jones Jr. or Marlon Mack?
Ooh, Marvin Jones Jr.
Yeah.
I mean, I was running Roto
I'm
World
assuming-
football
wait, I'm
when you
assuming-
two guys were in grade school.
I'm
for
assuming
real.
they're asking
For
PPR
10
here.
years straight.
Fine, well, you want to answer them now?
Respect Greg. All right, it's time for our Monday morning timeline. On here, we will predict what we will be tweeting come Monday morning. Cynthia, we will start with you. What do you got?
I've been riding this Eagles train like pretty hard, so why not stop here?
I love it.
Zach Ertz. Ertz, so good.
Hurts so.
This is just
Sorry,
personal.
hashtag Bills Mafia.
Oh, man.
Bills Mafia is just mad at me, so
Tweet her.
I'm just going to go back to
Send her those tweets.
They're very smart fan base, but they like to let you know how smart they are. On Twitter. It happens quite a bit. You know who else is a pain
Twitter.com.
on Twitter? Patriots fans. And we're going to be honking after this one. The
Okay.
Patriots are halfway home to their 10th straight bye. The most ridiculous stat in an era of ridiculous Patriots stats. It really is. I think a bye is like getting 2 or 3 straight byes is one of the greatest achievements you can ever imagine in the NFL. It's so tough.
Yeah.
10 straight's outrageous.
Yeah, round of applause. Anyway, here goes
Round
my
of
tweet.
applause.
This is for the Browns. This is for my Browns prediction. And just like that, the Browns are back,
Oh!
I
baby. The
can
hope
see it.
continues.
What can we? I feel like the two of you should have something on,
Yeah.
the show next
I
week
will
to paint us off.
appear on his
He's
show,
on-
the Tomahawk Show.
We gotta.
Actually, no matter what happens, we're
Yeah,
doing that
regard-
later.
either way.
Crossover
Well,
tonight.
thanks for inviting me for
You're
the
always
Tomahawk
invited.
Show. Yeah, okay.
All
On
right,
the
that does
Tomahawk
it for
Show. I'll
Game
see
Day
you
View.
guys on that.
Make sure you check us out every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Fantasy One is next.